Just 2 episodes in, and She-Hulk Attorney-at-Law seems to already be taking major steps forward in MCU. Recently, the series has canonized a bunch of real Marvel comics. If you're a die-hard comics fan, we're sure you can't wait to find out how these classics have been part of the MCU, and in today's video, we'll be looking into all that and more. So, let's jump right in. First off, the comic issues were spotted by some eagle-eyed fans. She-Hulk Attorney-at-Law is filled to the brim with a load of references and inside jokes that Marvel fans have been going crazy over. And in the second episode of the series, some observant fans were able to spot an Easter egg in She-Hulk's new office, which boasts an impressive collection of real-life Marvel comic books. These comic books have now made their way into the MCU, and we're just left thinking how they fit into everything. While it's true that they could just be a small Easter egg for eagle-eyed fans, we wouldn't be surprised if they eventually build on the inside joke and tell us that they're somehow from a completely different universe. Hey, it's the multiverse after all, anything's possible, right? A lot of these issues are memorable ones, stretching back to the 1960s, and so fans were definitely excited to see them get canonized in the actual MCU. But we can't help but wonder if this means that there's a comic book artist out there that's consistently publishing issues with details about superheroes which aren't even on S.H.I.E.L.D.'s radar. Next, what comic books did we get to see? The blink and you might miss it moment actually managed to sneak in a couple of interesting comic book issues. Many of these are fan favorites, and so we can definitely see why the writers thought that they'd make for a great Easter egg. One of the canonized comics was Avengers number 4, which was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby back in 1964. This issue involved the return of Captain America as a modern-day hero, and he joined Earth's mightiest heroes for the first time. It's definitely a pretty significant comic for this very reason, and we totally get why it was given a shout-out. The next issue we get to see is Captain America number 274. This issue is really special because it's written by the original co-creator of She-Hulk, David Kraft. Published in 1982, it shows us the fight between Steve Rogers and Hydra and involves a couple of really important comic book events like the death of Samuel Sawyer. And of course, we couldn't really call it a perfect She-Hulk Easter egg without the Hulk being there. The canonized comics was 1983's The Incredible Hulk, number 287. Here's where things start to get a bit wonky though. In the MCU timeline, Banner doesn't become the Hulk until much later, so it's weird how there's a comic book in the MCU depicting an exact lookalike years before it even happened. This issue shows us Hulk gaining control over his transformations and battling it out against MODOK. Plus, don't worry, there were many other comic books too. Marvel Comics making their way into the MCU has never really happened before, and so we're not really surprised that the writers really took their time and added as many cool and interesting issues as they possibly could. Some of the other ones we got to see canonized were What If, number 28. The issue was first published in 1991, and it involves a hypothetical scenario where Captain America isn't the only super soldier, but rather leads an entire army of them during World War II. Yeah, we don't think the Nazis would have stood a chance. The next comic book we got to see as a part of this Easter egg was Thor number 494. This was published in 1996 and features Thor and Enchantress on a journey to locate the World Engine. While it isn't that memorable of an issue, it has some pretty neat drawings, especially one of Thor wielding Mjolnir, and we're sure it's probably a favorite for someone of the writing team. Moving on to another Thor comic book, it's Thor number 611. This issue involved Thor dealing with the aftermath of the siege event. Thor had to protect Asgard from new forces that were rising to damage it. It marked the first time that Kieran Gillen and Rich Ellison had worked on the character, and so it's definitely one of the fans look back on fondly. And finally, we got to see Agent Carter number 1. This is the most recent of all the comics that were showcased during the episode. Published in 2015, this was a part of a couple of one-off comic books that were created to celebrate S.H.I.E.L.D.'s 50th anniversary. Now, what other Marvel Easter eggs have we seen in She-Hulk? With a show that has a setup like She-Hulk Attorney-at-Law, there's really no stopping the amount of Easter eggs and references that can be added in, and it seems that the writers definitely agree. Just like the original comic books, the Disney Plus series is filled with constant fourth wall breaking. In such scenes, Maslany turns it to the camera and casually strikes up a conversation exactly how Jen Walters did in the comics. There's also other small details that most fans won't even pick up on, like how the news channel that we got to see reporting on She-Hulk's rather smashing day at the court is the same one that we see covering Ant-Man out in public, as both of these superheroes live in California. That's a neat little bit of consistency in the MCU's world building. And in the scene where Jen is on her laptop, that is a whole new slew of fun Easter eggs, and even a teaser to a fan favorite character. At the side of the webpage Walters is on, there's a related article of the headline line, man fights with metal claws in bar brawl, and we think you know exactly who that's referring to. Could this mean that Wolverine is closer to joining the MCU than we think? Also on the same page, there's another article that mentions why there was a giant statue of a man sticking out of the ocean. And this is of course a clever reference to the Eternals, but we wouldn't blame you if you didn't get to see this one. Doesn't really look like many other people saw that film. Well, there's too many Easter eggs to count. These were definitely some of our favorites, and with that, let's move on to our next segment. Other news. Next, Disney's reportedly developing an Amazon Prime competitor. Looks like the competition between Disney and Amazon is about to get stiff, with the company now planning to launch their very own alternative to Amazon Prime. As per the Wall Street Journal, Disney will be providing their members with unique customer discounts and special offers as a part of its monthly subscription service. Insiders seem to think Disney's main goal is to get members to spend more on their streaming services, theme parks, resorts, and merchandise. And by giving members special discounts on these, they wish to incentivize more sales. Also, Harley Quinn has been renewed for season 4. HBO Max has officially renewed Harley Quinn for another season. The much-loved series seems to have survived the recent cancellations that have occurred at Warner Brothers due to their merger with Discovery. It was also announced that Sarah Peters, who was previously a writer on the show for its first 3 seasons, will be taking on the role of showrunner. After the sheer amount of shows that have been lost to the cosmos due to WB's recent merger, fans are happy that at least something made it out alive. It looks like Harley Quinn and Peacemaker are finally going to be the next big things to look out for as far as DC television shows are concerned. Finally, Emma Roberts teases the plot to Madam Web. Sony's list of Marvel movies are quite interesting to say the least. They all seem to revolve around popular Spider-Man characters, with the only caveat being that Spider-Man is nowhere to be found. From Venom to Morbius to now Madam Web, it really looks like a one-sided universe. Emma Roberts, who's set to star in the upcoming Madam Web movie, unveiled some interesting details about the plot of the movie. In an interview with Entertainment Online, Roberts stated that she'll be going back to shoot some more scenes for the movie very soon. She describes the experience as being really fun and stated that she's excited to join the cast. Not only that, she stated that the plot is very unique, which, well, let's just hope she means that in a good way. We're sure many would agree that Morbius was very unique too, but was it a good movie? No, not really. Roberts further added that she grew up watching Marvel movies, so getting to be a part of one definitely seems like a dream come true. Hey, it's not the MCU, but it still counts, right? That's a wrap for this video. Which of the comic book issues canonized in She-Hulk is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.